fades away. But I was looking at some of them that are, and digging into the actual like research and realizing how profound some of them are. So take, for example, this one. In 2015, there was a group of scientists who were studying the psychology of belief, the neuroscience of belief, of faith. And they discovered that they could take magnets, they could use these magnets to electromagnetically stimulate parts of the brain and turn off parts of the brain.
I've heard of this study,
yeah. And now, just for context, what they did is they stimulated a part of the brain that basically made people stop believing in God, and actually at the same time generated an openness to foreigners. So you would say in the culture war that we're in, these are actually moral values. You could say it's the belief in God, which is a moral value, and openness to foreigners, which is racism or anti-racism, whatever you want to say about this. Now, just to really stress this, magnets are incredibly powerful what they can do to your brain. You can use magnets to stimulate your Broca's area, which is the part that generates speech, and you can suppress it. You can shoot in magnetic waves, suppress it, and for about 3 hours you won't be able to talk. It'll be hilarious. So you can do this to people. You know, you can stimulate their visual cortex, they won't be able to see. You can do their Wernicke's area, and they'll be able to talk, but they won't be able to understand anything. So you can turn off parts of the brain. So what they
I'm just thinking about the applications if I was an intelligence agency, being able to aim that from afar at a politician or someone.
I'm telling people about this, and believe me, any conspiracy theorists I come across are like, I knew it. The 5G towers are making us godless. I knew it. Like, it comes out.
But why do those things interrelate, the belief in God and the openness to
that's the question. That's a crazy question. That's a really, really crazy question. Because why? And like, this is what I mean. People who see that, and obviously a lot of people grab it and be like, libtards have brain damage, proof. And then other people, actually the people who conducted the study said, this proves that bigotry and racism are related. And they come from the same brain area, and we can turn it off. And it's weird, and then people just kind of brush over it, because it's a very strange phenomenon. Right. Now, what is the brain area? So the reason why can you use magnets to turn off speech is because I'm suppressing the speech center. This area is in your prefrontal cortex. Now your prefrontal cortex is the thing that defines us as being human. And the animals, the thing that generally separates us is we have this big blob here. Now within the prefrontal cortex, there's obviously different parts. The prefrontal cortex is designed to inhibit other parts of the brain. It gives us our willpower, and it's designed to solve problems. The specific part I'm talking about is called the posterior medial frontal cortex. Now I know nobody's going to remember that, but you can think of it as like posterior means back, medial means middle. Right. So your frontal cortex, so we're saying the middle, and then the back. So it's kind of like in the middle center thing.
Right.
So it's confusing, but if you think about how to understand these things, you must study what they do. You look at its function. So this is known as the threat detection part of our brain. Now, if you want a visual for this, imagine the Eye of Sauron. So Sauron in Mordor, looking out, and when someone puts on the ring, that's like a danger. So you're walking through your life, and the Eye of Sauron, the posterior medial frontal cortex, is looking out into the world, and it's saying, is there a problem, is there a danger, is there a threat? And its job is to assign this. Now, Sauron doesn't do anything. Sauron notices that there's a problem.
It's actually a great analogy, because he can't do anything.
He can't do anything. He doesn't have hands. So your posterior medial frontal cortex is not an actor. What it does is it recruits other parts of your brain. It's like an executive CEO Sauron type thing. So it sees that there's a tiger. So it's walking and it's like, that's a tiger. And then it tells other parts of your brain to dedicate visual resources, confirm that's a tiger, and then it says, all right, get the spear out and to attack it turns on instincts, this type of thing. So its job is to process, assess threats, and designate, you could say, relevance or values or danger or intensity to threats. Threat processing center. So this part of your brain, when you suppress it, generates, so actually maybe I should do it the opposite way. I'll do it in the positive. It's easier to understand. When it's turned on, it makes you